Peace, peace. Happy now. Now the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now it's just kind of like a little open discussion. Don't have no main, aim in essence. Just kind of gonna show some books that I have read. But really, one of them that I have read in essence, well, two. This one I, basically read through, which is not that much of say for instance, like reading material as much as it's like the pictures, again, associated. So let's see. This is a water molecule structure from the Yodi River. But it's different, showing the different vibration sequences of water in essence. Because again, we are 70%, and even more than that in women. Which that would make sense. Matter of fact, because of the birthing situation, the female would have more water, than males to be able to bring in another galaxy. As above, so below. Just like how this plane of existence is said that we sitting in this, this void, or these waters, and like space is really water and not actual like space. Well, it's just same analogy when our little small universe, say small, but when our little universe is being created in the dark waters of our mother womb, in that triple darkness, the three trimesters, what I'm saying? But that is Ain, Soft, and the triple darkness. That's or should I say those void areas, over the Sephiroth of Ketha, or Ketha on the tree of life, a tree of knowledge, Kabbalah, however you want to say it. But yeah, those dark, waters in essence is our universe, our little universe. Okay, this bodysuit that has a universe packed in it, created within the womb of our mothers, you know what I'm saying? And as above, so below, you see why that, when we talk about the feminine energy being like one of the the eldest energies dealing with source, but also just kind of want to show the different aspects, because also again with water you have what they call cymatics. And also, say for instance, want to talk about different. Matter of fact, this is a cool little book called Quadrivium, and you see like with sacred geometry, these different shapes that that take place. It's not for just any reason. Matter of fact, as we see, got this snowflake. Must have got like a little cube inside of it. Similar to Metatron's cube, the flower of life. All these different shapes. But that's due to different energies. This one is some water from the Matori Yusu spring water. So it's from the Fuji River, but this is from the Bandai Plateau. Some water, and that's basically like the water molecule. Because again, like the vibration, we see that everything vibrates. And we start to see that again, spirituality is also mixed with science in essence. you know uh if a person want to be in denial of say for instance the law of attraction, and not the law of attraction more so, because again, not from the new age perspective, but more so the fullness of it, but in the aspect of the law of attraction, how, or more so, let's just say this, basically what we focus on grows, and what we focus on manifests into the physical realm. So basically, our consciousness, wherever our consciousness is focused, it affects the matter in the material realm. Somebody be like, oh, well, no, I don't believe that, and that's some bullshit, this and that. Well, you should tell that person, well, go check out the double slit experiment. And again, and you start to see where you could only do so much, because here it is, well, again, this is something that could truthfully show a person like, hey, this is how electrons move whenever they're being observed and whenever they're not being observed. And electrons, is in the makeup of atoms and matter, you know what I'm saying? So, with that experiment, it proves that our consciousness does affect matter. But again, you could show a person this and they could still be like in denial and stuff like that, like, oh, well, no, and then that's when, you step away and you leave that person, where they at. They obviously fighting for their ignorance. Some people fight for their ignorance. We done seen it on so many levels where, you telling a person things that may benefit them, but they fight like, a person talking about, oh man, the doctor, I'm taking Abilify, I'm taking Claritin and this and that. But man, and what's funny, like, too, some people be stuck in that mode of just lost in it, of like trying to get away from it, but yeah, man, but I gotta make sure I take it, this and that. You know, but again, not so much that part, those people are not deep into it, but for the most part, again, fighting for ignorance, fighting for sickness, fighting that part of us, because again, it's an energetic battle that's going on, and it's not externally. It turns into something externally, because again, our consciousness and what's going on internally inside our consciousness projects outwardly, again proving that matter, our consciousness affects matter. With the double slit experiment, just to brief on speaking on it, they had two slits, two little openings, and they were sending electrons through it, and they observed that whenever, basically they was running the experiment, but nobody was like actually looking at it. Like, they ran the experiment, and they had little computers and things to test the results and see what the results say. Then results showed that as it was passing electrons through these slits, that not only electron, that's something that is its own little ball of energy in so many words, but like when they came back and looked at the results, it showed that the electrons basically move like wave particles and not like actual like electron by itself. And with that, they also realized that basically, again, they was shooting it straight through the little slits to see how it was gonna come out on the other side. Now here it is where they look at the results, and it's like it showed that the electron did go through the slit, didn't go through the slit, and did it was like basically like all possibilities happen. So instead of it just picking up on like, all right, this electron went through this slit, this electron went through that slit, and not picking, of course, which one, but just seeing that, again, like if you was just to send the electron through the slit, normally it would just go through. And when we look at the test results, it would show like, all right, it went through the right hole, and went straight through. But when they looked at it, again, and this was them doing the experiment without observing it. Remember, they wasn't, like actually watching it go down with their eyes. They like just ran the experiment in a different little room, and then again came back to the results, and it showed that, again, all possibilities happened. That the electron didn't pass through the hole, that it did pass through the hole and that it went on side of the hole. So again, like showing that all possibilities, and when we talk about, being in the void, and we talk about atoms having over 90% dark matter, you know, being in that void of darkness, and in that void though, there are many possibilities, like all realities exist until you take some focus. That's the whole thing I spoke about, like on our spiritual growth, when we get into like that void stage of, almost like float, like it is floating around. And again, if you stay in this stage for too long, then you're gonna just float around without any direction. You want to, again, that's where the balance come in. You have some masculine direction and focus, but that energy, is just floating, because everything, how I say, all possibilities, potential for all possibilities, because you're in the realm of that void, like all dimensions are able to exist in essence of, like, well, all of, basically just, it's open to all possibilities. And then once you take a direction, then that's when the electrons and that matter is going to take form in the direction of where you're sending it, in essence. And that's the whole thing with with that experiment. So when they realized that, then they came back and they was like, all right, we're gonna observe this, we gotta see this shit, for our own eyes. And I can't recall for sure, because you could go look this up and they'll explain this too, the same thing. But I can't remember whether they did it with a camera or with their own eyes, but basically they sat there and observed it this time. And then when they, observed it and looked at the results, it showed that the electrons, was going through the holes, so it did show, like, all right, it went through this hole. It wasn't showing that all possibilities happened. It showed like the electron actually moving like how they expected in the first place, because that's what they were expecting. They were expecting, like, again, like the electron, and there's a bunch of slits, and, like, matter of fact, so to kind of draw the analogy a little bit, because I don't have my tablet to draw it out, but like, say for instance, something going through here and then touching this back wall right here, and it was like, had some measuring system on this back wall to show where the electron was hitting at, and that's how they knew it was hitting like a wave, because it was coming through, and then spreading out like a wave. But then when they watched it, it was coming, passing through like this, but actually, touching, as a single electron as well, showing that when they was observing it, that the electron, again, had a certain direction to it, and again, proving in that moment, like, oh, all right, our observation, our conscious observation affects, affects matter, affects the way electrons are, are moved, or the movement of electrons. It affects the how can I say, it affects the shape that they're taking, in essence. But more so just affecting it as far as giving it some type of direction. Our conscious mind affects matter, and so, if somebody try to get over it, like they're looking for science proof and stuff like that, that's the thing you would share, as far as like proving that our conscious mind affects matter. You know what I'm saying? Proving in the experiment. And then this is another one, messages from the water, where again, writing a certain message on like a bottle of water, or like holding a bottle of water and saying something. So if I'm holding a glass of water, I'm like, fuck that shit, I hate everybody, and fuck it, just all negative, and just like on some, low vibrational, giving off a low vibrational energy. Then that the water molecule is gonna have the water molecules in that cup are gonna take on a shape that's unsymmetrical, and and looking all horrible. I'm trying to find the one in here where they show in fact, this is some they wrote, so say for instance, on this little bottle, they put it in a little bottle and wrote soul on it. that's what came out. For this one, let's see. This one right here, they wrote demon on this one. This one they wrote, that is angel. So when you write angel on the water, but seeing again how, and again we talk about at first was the word, and the word is God, you know, which that's also speaking to you know, the Chitauri story, like with the reptilians and Anchor and Enlil, one of them making us for slaves and the other one teaching us that we are you know, gods and more than what, you know. Again, Enlil was the one trying to enslave, but you know, and again, this is a personification of in essence you know, energies, you know. It's like Enki, or should I say Enlil, is a representation of which both of them are a representation of a rogue energy, but one was a rogue energy stepping away from the family and doing things, trying to control, you know, these humanoids on a certain level and messing with the flow of things. And then you have Enki, who's more of that rebellious figure for helping the humanoids, you know. And you see how you got that aspect of two brothers, you know, so that same energy. Well, again, they have angelic beings that are like archons that's trying to keep you here in this matrix. Then you got some that are the ones that, like Enki, are trying to enlighten, you know what I'm saying, and help us to you know, realize we are more than what we were told. See, this one say, I hate you. No, you make me sick, I will kill you. You know, that's what the water molecule look like. When you put that on the bottle. You know, but again, seeing how these, you know, you go check out cymatics, CYMATICS. You know, how different sound frequencies create a certain energy, and then you know, you see how, like, matter of fact, where they started with this 440 hertz frequencies, you know, to throw off our energies. You know, the Nazis dealing with the Holocaust, and I always speak on that. The Holocaust was basically like them practicing how to fuck over the masses today, you know, in so many words, you know. Like with chemical warfare, but more so with you know, sound frequency warfare as well, you know, studying all aspects of it. And part of that was them, you know, realizing how that 440 hertz, you know, throws off you know, throws off our balance with our chakras, and just in general, you know, throws off our energy. So they implemented that hertz to be the common, you know, guideline, or in essence like the base frequency for playing music on the radio and things of this nature. So you know, when we listening to, you know, in which I don't, before I go deeper into that aspect of, like, you know, what's actually playing, because it may be where some, at this point, I'm pretty sure somebody done developed the technology to have things play without that, you know, that 440 hertz, you know, that harmful hertz, and to play in a more divine frequency. But, you know, they again implemented that energy. And remember, like I just finished, we are water, you know, and water picks up on the word vibration and conscious vibration. You know what I'm saying? And our conscious vibration affects matter. The double slit experiment, you know, proves that on a scientific level, you know, something that we cannot deny. You know, and then I talk about you know, you got the six healing sounds. I done did a video on that. You could go check out for like the organ healing exercise, where you do like as a sound to heal the lungs. That's for the liver. for the heart, you know, these different and here it is right here. You know, the different sounds. There's like a woo for the kidneys, and there's also a picture in the color blue. You know, and I got a video on this, but just to show you know, again, adding, like this video again, I barely even knew what I wanted to do in this video. In essence, like I saw these books and I'm like, I want to, you know, show people these books to just show them that literature out here, you know, exists and how certain literature lines up to prove that, hey, you know, sound vibrations, you know, affect water. Because here it is where people got this selective knowledge of like, you know, so say for instance, oh yeah, I'm smart and this and that, we got to use prescription pills and this and that, we have to use, well, no, you know, if you're so smart and you know you kept on reading, you realize, well, no, vibration affects our you know, affects water, and we are mostly made out of water. So you know, as a matter of fact, all these Eastern, what we call Eastern ways of healing, you know what I'm saying, which for the most part just still Eastern in so many words, just like, hey, we still keep up with the indigenous way of doing things. We realize that, you know, it's not about poisoning ourselves. And at this point, I mean, only somebody who's, you know, brainwashed by the energies of those medicines would try to make a case for those medicines being better than, you know, holistic health and healing, you know, because it's a proven fact. As you, again, we talk about, you know, energies, what noise or what energy that animal was going through before it got killed. Because this is another thing too, with eating foods. Just in general, something is going to lose its life in order for you to sustain itself. That's point blank, period. And vegan and vegetarian people, you know, like to think they're on a high horse, you know, in this contradictive mind frame that they're not killing something just because it doesn't scream and holler and breathe or make noises in the manner that they're used to, you know, like, oh, well, like as if photosynthesis is not a living act, as if that is not, you know, something living. You know, in order to go through a situation from being a seed to either a vegetable or a tree that gives fruit, you know, you have to be alive. You know what I'm saying? And if you're taking that vegetable or fruit from, you know, its realm of living, you are killing it. And like I tell people, of course, you know, when you look at it, fruits, if anything, fruits seem like they give themselves to us the most, you know, on a, where it's easy to grab a fruit, you know, we don't have to create a tool to eat a fruit, you know, we don't have to create a tool to try to hunt a fruit down, you know, it's like, it's right there, able for us to consume, you know, you eat, and if the seeds isn't big or anything, you could actually eat the seeds and they'll come out in your feces and you have fertilizer with seeds and create another tree, you know, so of course that has a logic reason behind it that would make it make sense. But even then again though, but I would be ignorant to say I'm not killing anything, you know, in that, just because again, it's just because it's not kicking and screaming. You know, we got to realize the reality of the situation. The only reason why it's not good to eat meat, in essence, for one, you know, it's secondhand energy. Like instead of getting the energy first off, like that animal did, in essence, you know, because again, of course, oh well, what's up with meat eaters? Why they got meat eaters and this and that? I couldn't answer the question why, except for the question. I mean, the answer would be like, you know, having diverse life, you know, just a balance in life. But we obviously see though that the animals that are meat eaters are built to be meat eaters. A lion doesn't have to create a gun. You know, a lion or any of these predators don't use a spear. You know, they use themselves because they are built to eat what they are eating. You know what I'm saying? Like we are built as flat ass teeth. You know, matter of fact, boy, it'd be painful to be eaten alive by a human. That gotta be the most painful thing ever, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, because we not meant to tear through flesh. And if we were meant to be hunters on that level, we would have night vision to be able to, to hunt to the fullest. Every animal is fully equipped to do what they are here to do in essence. So you see that aspect. But again, with eating the animals, and again going back to vibration, because again we water picks up on vibrations, and everything is vibrating. So that animal, was it, an extremely fearful place before it transition, because that fear goes into you as you eating. That's why, like, again, if people do eat meat, they'll eat like the farm raised, and the way it go, like shit, if they, raising it, or, no, which I see it more so like you should be the one, if you want to eat that animal, then you should be the one to put that animal into transition, because that fully say you take full responsibility of your act, and again giving thanks, of course, because again something is losing its life regardless. So even giving thanks for, again, that vegetable lost its life for you to sustain yourself. That fruit lost its life in order for you to sustain itself. So you giving thanks across the board, you know what I'm saying? Like being thankful just in general. But again, it's just the vibration of what that animal was going through, you know, before you ate it, and that energy is gonna go in and fall and energetically start trying to anchor itself into your chakras. Because of the fact, again, we got these energy fields, is the fact that, just like with thoughts, I could have a thought right now, and I have consciousness, words flowing out right now. But if you cut open my head in half, you're not gonna see my thoughts and see the words in my consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Because again, that's the what some, the terminology of metaphysical. But these energies exist, but it's not in a physical physical standpoint. It's from a more etheric, essence, like our nadis and meridian. Same thing with ley lines of this planet. When you dig up under Washington D.C. or all the state capitals across the world for the most part, but especially in America, all state capitals, has something to do with the ley lines passing under. And I got videos on ley lines as well. You could go look up to get in depth. But that if you dig a hole, you're not gonna see an actual vein of energy, and be like, hey, that's a ley line. Like, no, it's an energy, unseen, like our chi. But just seeing how the sounds, all this goes into, our healing process. You also see like certain parts of the spine connected with certain organs. That's showing you too, in essence, scientifically, these areas connect. And so when we're doing our chakra work, certain chakra connect with certain certain organs. So working in these areas, is, again, because the chakras are within the spinal column. That's the whole story with the, the kundalini, where the root chakra symbol got the triangle with the square around it, the triangle representing the 3 times called, the serpent called up 3 times, and there's a point down because it is a primordial feminine aspect, and it's in that box, of matter, matter, the hexagram, the 6-sided cube, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. But in that root chakra, within the spine, the base of the spine, and then it rises up, and then comes to the medulla area, and that goes into the Christ story, like Christ being a carpenter too, a builder, building up that spine, and also dying at 33, or being crucified at 33, because we have 33 spinal columns. And that's what masonry get. They let 33 degrees of masonry, but It's 33 no 33 spinal columns. So that's in connection with that. You know, you breathing in that energy, you know, raising it up, that kundalini. I mean, raising up the spine, I'm sorry, raising the kundalini up the spine and through the chakras, you know. You know, all these different things are correlated. Matter of fact, this book is called Awaken Healing Light by Montauk and Manawan Chia. The front of it messed up. I can't show the front. Show the back of it though. And also too, I forgot the name of the brethren that did this video. It was on Brother Rich channel, on the Black Magic channel. Shout out to Brother Rich. But they basically made a 3D computer program, a computer generated, you know, diagram / picture, or just kind of like a moving animation of like what they would, you know, what our plane of existence may be. You know what I'm saying? It was showing like, you know, the different planets, like how basically you know, the different layers of worlds, kind of like a fountain, because you know, we talk about the 7 heavens, which again 7 chakras, but also like being like a water fountain effect. You know how the water fountain got the bottom bowl and it got a bowl above that, and the bowl above that that's smaller, and the water shoots up and out the top, you know, and trickles down into these different bowls. But these bowls could be seen as different worlds. And you know, like whether it's like the bottom bowl, since Saturn and Jupiter, like, you know, it's said to be spinning in the outermost realms, is spinning over the, you know, over that outer realm, and it breaks down. And I don't want to get deep into it, you know, you have to check out the video. But like within that video though, they showed you know, like they're said to have the spin of different planets, like, and the planets don't just spin like just a regular like constant circle like that. You know, it's more so like it spins in patterns like this, you know. And they showed that on that little video, like where it seemed like instead of just a flow like that, like it seemed like the planet would circle a little bit in this area and then come and then move and then, you know, do a little something like that. You'll have to again, I did this video without without knowing that I was gonna you know, speak on that. But so you have let's see, got Jupiter and Saturn's dance, you know, right here. But you know, and this all goes in, you see why too, you know, word vibrations and numbers, like, because what a word is, all these words in this book, like basically, like say for instance, at the end of the day, this one book breaks down to one number. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that, like if you took all the words in this book, you know, and simplified its number values, it would come down to one number. So again, this universe is, you know, again, vibrations and certain you know, like a number, you know, has a certain vibration to it, has a certain little energy signature to it, you know. So even down to, you know, planets having a certain name, you know, the name Jupiter comes out to a certain number value, you know. But you see how these again, these planets have these different orbits in essence. But yeah, this book right here also, like, it gets down into musical notes and dealing with the planets. Like this one is a real deep book. As a matter of fact, what's pretty cool is I had this book at one time and then ended up letting somebody when I was moving from Baton Rouge, like I ended up letting somebody have it, but I gotta rebuy this book. I see why I bought it in the first place. But like it gets into, you know, the, like true music aspects. And think about this, like this is stuff that they don't teach us. Like imagine if in you know, in kindergarten, not say kindergarten, but like in our early stages, you know, we had the option to learn about, you know, the fullness of the universe, like with the rhythms and, you know, all the aspects of cymatics and how we made out of water, but how sound vibrations and all that affects water. You know, like if we were, matter of fact, this is the thing about cymatics right here. Like, you know, seeing, like, because if you look up cymatics, probably one of the first pictures or like videos you'll see is somebody doing this experiment where it's like some sand sitting on a little, there's like a little metal plate, and as he bring that little, like a little violin thing across this plate, he's gonna create a frequency, and the sand is gonna quote unquote magically move into some type of pattern, you know, that's gonna have some level of symmetry to it. You know, and again, this is stuff where you see it for yourself. You know, it's not, you know, made up or just, you know, again, like science coincides with our spiritual vibes. You know, the reason why they show you know, a halo or a 5-point star or a 6-point star, it all has to do with, you know, vibrational, you know, vibrational signatures in essence. You know, and also like with crystals, you know, crystals have a certain molecular structure, you know what I'm saying? And certain, again, certain shapes, and certain shapes have a certain energy, and also certain shapes correlate with certain number values, you know what I'm saying? So all this goes in to, you know, dealing with, you know, crystals and other things. Matter of fact, like with a crystal, everything vibrates and is approved. So even going to that on a scientific level, you know, it's proven that everything is constantly vibrating. Like when they go look up, and go look this up for yourself. You know, again, this is stuff where you at this point in this Aquarius age, you know, the only person that could stop you from getting information is you. You know what I'm saying? Like it is there. You know, again, some people have this vibe, and I understand. You know, in your growth, you just like, which more so you're just working through your energies, because some people like, oh, where do I start, where do I go? You just go, like, be hungry and stop sitting there and waiting for somebody to take a book and slap it in your face. You know what I'm saying? You gotta actually just be curious and just look, like trial and error. Like, all right, you hear about chakras, and go look for any and all books you hear about chakras, and as you go through it, you're gonna come across something that may seem like it's bullshit, but you're gonna come across something that's real. You know, like it is a process of elimination in essence, you know. But you gotta, you know, start somewhere. You know, instead of sitting down in a paralysis of like, oh, where do I start? What's a good book to start off with? And again, I understand, you know, asking questions on that level, but like, don't make it to where you're not gonna make a move unless somebody who has a YouTube channel or, you know, speaks on spiritual information tells you to read a book. Like, you're not waiting till that, you know, you want to move around and do what you got to do before that, you know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, speaking of, again, gematria, and it's all in this one book, so you see how this book kind of connecting all of that, you know, somatics, you know, vibration. Matter of fact, reason why, you know, it makes sense, and it's all like how in the Enochian magic book I'm reading, you know, like creating magic squares or working with magic squares is also like working with, you know, like the creation process. Like how I tell people with making my bracelets, like, you know, like each bracelet is uniquely different. So I may be using, say for instance, quartz and citrine, let's just say, in it, but each bracelet, although having quartz and citrine in it, is going to have a unique combination, and not one combination is going to be the same. You know what I'm saying? And I do with those two combinations, I do the most that I can to keep them different. And then once I kind of done got to a place where, you know, like, all right, I done almost ran out of combinations with these two crystals, then I move. And that's why I work with certain crystals at certain time and move to different. It's like, all right, gotta find a different combination, because I gotta keep making combinations different, you know what I'm saying, not one the same. Because basically what people don't realize, that from the day I first started doing jewelry, no one bracelet is alike, you know, and I feel like that's what brings a unique energy to what I do. But just in general, you know, again, like you see how what computer programming, you know, or dealing with magic squares, you know, is all like a form of creation. You know what I'm saying? Like us being, you know, guides on the human experience. You know, working with these forms of creation, even on a human level. Here you go, got the golden mean spiral. Some people call it the Fibonacci sequence. I fell back off of using that name because I know how some people claim to discover things that always existed. You know, kind of like, matter of fact, like that brethren, what's his name, Robert Simmons, kind of trying to patent a crystal. Because I'm wondering, like, when I did a video about that, a zestilite, and like that's the first time I seen like a trademark little imprint by the name of a crystal. I'm like, damn, how you could own a name of a crystal like that? Like, basically like almost like basically like as above so below, basically indirectly doing to that crystal what the government tries to do to us, as far as like give it a name. Like, we're gonna give this little corporation with this birth certificate a name. You know, that's the same thing as trademarking a crystal name. And I ain't, you know, to each his own on how they feel about doing things, but you know, I don't too much vibe with that energy. But you know, again, it is what it is. Matter of fact, they talk about church windows, like different shapes. But again, just kind of sharing a little bit. The platonic solids, you know, all different energies. But matter of fact, when I speaking about the golden mean ratio, you know, you go check out any video I did. I either have golden mean ratio in the name, or the videos I did recently on wavelengths or waves, and that'll go into it as well. And then also, there's some literature that I haven't read or anything, and I'm kind of careful on, like, you know, like, oh yeah, I stand by this book or this and that. You know, I haven't dabbled into it, but we know in general though, we're dealing with any and all information. You know, you got to use your heart's discernment, your intuition. You know, because for the most part, a lot of this book information is, you know, secondhand, or coming from, you know, people who was trying to portray a certain perspective, you know, subjectively, like was trying to get the reader to lean towards a certain way of viewing things, more like they view things, you know. So, you know, that aspect exists just in literature in general. But like this is a cool little book, matter of fact. Cause I ain't gonna lie too, this is the type of literature, like, so instead of like you know, you're going into these crystal shops and normal little bookstores, and you know, and getting little books by, again, not knocking any of these authors or none of this, you know, but just like the common, like Paulo Coelho and, you know, Osho and, you know, Eckhart Tolle, like, you know, just the new, I mean, in essence, again, not labeling these people as new age people, because again, there's a chess game, you know. They may be delivering the message in a manner that the mainstream agrees with, you know, but they're not necessarily like lying to us or, you know, misleading us. Which in some cases some are, in some cases some, you know, not. Because like I spoke on, like with the Eckhart Tolle vibe, I just feel like he's promoted just due to he has like such a quiet demeanor about himself, but that doesn't mean that he's purposely like, yes, I have this quiet demeanor on purpose. Because, you know, he speak on letting anger loose, you know, and he laughs and kind, you know what I'm saying. But, you know, being allowed to be on that mainstream to a certain level. But this book, Esoteric Psychology by Alice Bailey, and it's probably got some more volumes too. You know, but these like again, these are the type of books, you know, that where you get to see where some of these new age people get their literature from in essence, you know. But yeah, talking about the different rays of light, you know, and indirectly you know, getting into matter of fact, let's see. And again, this as we would read literature, this and that, you know, it's like not just taking it, oh, this got to be all true. You know, again, using your discernment. You know, you know how when you read over a certain statement and you're like, oh no, this shit's too, you know. And again, and let me correct that too. Like you read over a statement, of course you got your mind could hop in on some just prejudgmental, like, oh no, that's gotta be some bullshit. But then you know you got that vibe of like when you read some literature on a vibe where you're not looking to say it's wrong. All right, you just reading it, and then you just catch a vibe of like, oh yeah, you know that. And two, you could feel, you know, it's your high self, you know, moving through you, because it also kind of gets specific, like, well, you know, hey, not all of that, but that part, that sentence where they spoke on this, and that sentence when they said that, you know, pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the realness is. You know what I'm saying? Or you might have a vibe again, reading it and like something tell you like, all right, this book was written by somebody that has this type of view. So understand the deeper essence of what they're saying, but don't take it from their perspective, because you know, because they were trying to push a certain agenda with this literature. You know what I'm saying? Like you get your inner discernment, like letting you know how to flow with the information. You know, but oh yeah, this is basically the gist. Had these little books in my hand, and I just like felt the urge to do a video again, and like also it was a vibe of breaking out of, because I felt like a vibe of fearing doing like a video, just going with the flow, and that's what I always did. You know, I had to, you know, realizing too, being authentic to myself, like that's me. Like I'm just oh, I'm feeling it, let's go with it. You know what I'm saying? And I do my best job at making sure that, you know, I don't go far with that energy unless I'm, you know, in alignment with higher self and source, you know, to the best of my capabilities in those moments. Because sometimes there'll be moments where we going through some heavy ascension energies, and I know I'm going through some inner work, but you know, and kind of like trying to fall back from the scene, but so it's pushing me like, all right, you got to fight through this energy, because you got like a little message, you got a little download that would be good for people to hear in this moment. You know, then they got some moments where it's like on the opposite side where I'm trying to push through and create a video, and so it's like, no, sit down, rest. Like your mind not even, you know, your mind, body, and soul not in a place to be sharing this message or any message in this time. We'll sit down somewhere, you know. Because lately that has been the gaps in between videos. Of course, though, studying more, like, so I've been having you know, like sitting down and really getting down like how I used to, with making sure I'm, you know, getting as deep as I can into certain aspects before doing videos on it, which that should always be the case, but then sometimes it's not the case. You know, again, it's, you know, balance. Like sometimes you want to logically make sure you know the best or most about a certain situation, and sometimes, you know, it's just coming out because it's a fact that, you know, I know for myself that I am highly intuitive. It's a fact that source moves through me in such a manner where, you know, here it is where if I haven't spoken on before, like a situation like, which I have spoken on, but in so many words, but like before even looking into working with the yin and yang energy, you know, I'm in the store looking at melons and looking at with something else that basically deals with an offering to yin and yang. But I'm looking at this and dealing with these things before I even fully catch the urge to really work with these energies. So it'll be proving itself to me on an intuitive level. It's not like nobody like, oh yeah, hey, you need to work with yin and yang, this and that. Like, it's like the universe showed me through synchronicity and through how my intuition leads me to things, you know, even without me necessarily consciously knowing, you know what I'm saying? And again, it's a balance. That doesn't mean I'm gonna just like try to just float around and go with the flow, uh, which of course going with the flow of intuition, but not to a point of like where it's you know, where I'm never using logical reasoning. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there, and all are important when it serves its purpose. You know, like in some cases, it's better for us to go with the flow and share some knowledge. Because again, we are gonna be some of the people like, you know, this could be us. Like, we don't always have to be reading books. We also are developed. You know, we also tapped into source, and we are also able to bring down information that may be, you know, quote unquote new to us in this realm. You know, in this uh in this time of our existence. You know what I'm saying? Some of us gonna bring down some information that we ain't never seen in this time of our existence. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't come from, you know, always trying to read literature from somebody else. You know, at some point we're gonna be creating our own literature. You know what I'm saying? And you know, always keeping that in mind as well. You know, we learn from, of course, you know, past literature, but it's also, you know, certain aspects of things we coming down to bring to the table ourselves. You know, and whether we actually write a book or whether we just be the walking book. You know, because that's how I feel about myself sometimes. Like, I just, when I get into a crowd of people or just with anybody and I'm sharing, you know, shit, I feel like I'm just like a auditory book. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't got no pages flapping when I walk, but you know what I'm saying? But that's, you know, the gist of it. But you know, but remembering these little certain aspects again, science of somatics, and the fact that we are walking water bags, you know, and if, you know, if our consciousness, again through the double slit experiment, our consciousness is proven to affect matter in that manner, you know, our sound vibrations and thought vibrations affects, you know, water, you know, so and then you start to make things add up. So it's like, all right, so it makes sense to, you know, eat healthy and speak healthy and consume healthy music, you know, and you know, make sure if my, you know, my wife pregnant for our seed coming into this realm, that I'm, you know, talking and nurturing and making sure because again, a little universe is being created, you know. Do you want that little universe to be created with red dye 40 and and silicon dioxide and bisulfate citric acid? You know, or do you want that little universe to have some natural copper and vitamin D and vitamin E and, you know, and like these natural forms of, you know, energy? You know, do you want that little universe to come into a realm where, you know, the first thing it sees is a doctor trying to fucking rub some antibiotics in his eye and getting spanked on the ass and getting hit with some poison, while the mom, in essence, you know, that God, you know, in essence, that mother of its universe is sitting there knocked out due to the drugs. Because matter of fact, because these doctors getting slicker and slicker with it, where they just find any reason to talk a woman into a C-section. Matter of fact, shout out to my brother Rocco. We was just talking about that. You know, like sitting down. I mean, sit like with the doctors, like constantly finding any little thing. Even like with my mom telling the story, like, well, the doctors like saw how big my daddy head was and was like, oh yeah, he probably gonna be big. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like little simple stupid shit in order to, you know, again create the most disconnecting experience for your offspring. Is that's their job. And again, the road to hell could be paved with good intentions. They may think, you know, some of them at this point know they doing something fucked up, but for the most part, you know, a lot of people may think they are really helping, you know, and they're really not. But it is what it is. Gotta, raise awareness again. Double slit experiment shows, you know, this book, Dr. Emoto, Masaru Emoto, it shows, it's right here. The double slit experiment proves, here it is, the placebo effect proves, the book Cyclomancer got 2 cases in the front of the book that speaks on how they realized that the syphilis disease really wasn't, a disease, or like when the body seemed like it had syphilis, it was more so the cells in the body mimicking that bacteria, or that molecule of that quote unquote syphilis, and not actual disease, like basically the body mimics or goes along where the mind takes it, like with people with cancer and quote unquote cancer and HIV is like this is again, all this shit fake, and more so people don't start, when you look at it, people don't start quote unquote, because we all, let's say for instance, it's a fact that cancerous little molecules exist within all of us to a certain extent. It's just that, a lot of us eating healthy and doing things that keeps that cancer dormant and stops it from, as a matter of fact, and help to eliminate it more and more by, continuously eating healthy, while some people, by basically telling their higher self, like, hey, fuck it, I don't give a fuck about this bodysuit, I'm gonna eat whatever. It's like, oh, all right, your wish is my command. Now you got diabetes, time to cut off your leg. We're gonna start off with your left leg. Since you don't want this body, we're gonna start off with your left leg. We're gonna come back around for the right leg. Then next year you'll catch a heart attack and you'll be done with your body, as you wish. All your life you've been aiming to take yourself out. So we, as source, it's a free will universe. So you could choose slavery or bondage. You could choose knowledge or ignorance. It's your choice. And it's so beautiful that you have that choice. You could end yourself if you wanted to. But I choose not to for myself. But that's basically it. Again, just wanted to share these little vibes. And shout out to my brethren Brad for matter of fact showing me this one. As a matter of fact, and these books come from LSU Library. So too, if you in school and look, just straight up and real, the system from high school to college is not meant to really help you to learn how to become your greatest version to the fullest. They're trying to make you a worker in their system. They're trying to make their system great. So they present, that's why, and think about it, that's why they forcefully try to make kids go to school in like New York, where like with homeschooling, they almost make it impossible. Or like if you don't send your kids to school, they try to send the parents to jail. Showing like if you don't get your children, that's some Nazi shit. Like if you don't indoctrinate your children into our system, we're gonna put you in jail. Like look at that for literally what it is, and stop, again, trying to stick your head in the sand as if, these people ain't trying to influence you to, fuck over yourself and your our and say our, but the seeds, the offspring, because we don't own each other, but that's basically it. Peace. Happy now. Now is a vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Peace, peace.